Hi, my name is Olivia, and currently my life is a bit chaotic. So let me explain. First thing is most of our furniture is essentially gone, and my house is a train wreck. And if you can tell by my voice, I'm sorry, but I am a little under the weather. My throat is a little bit dry. We've had some issues going on in the house. Plus, our finances are looking a little bit poopy right now. And because of that, my husband has been working late, which means I am here with my son, who is about 19 months right now. And not to mention, to top it all off, I am currently pregnant. I'm about a month-ish out from giving birth. Now, the main point of this video is because I just want to share how I'm at peace through all these things going on. Of course, life could be worse. This is not a complaining session at all, but I truly feel at peace even though we have a baby coming and even though all these things are happening. So let me explain how, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to give some practical tips if you are struggling. It doesn't even matter if you're pregnant or not, just any mom struggling who needs some encouragement, or maybe you can just relate to what's going on in my life right now. So anyways, let's get into it. The first thing that has helped me not to feel like overwhelmed and angry mostly is I had to stop playing the victim. So it was really hard for me to realize like that's what I was doing. So I'm just going to give a quick example, so hopefully that this makes sense. But for example, last night, and this has been happening a lot of nights. So my husband will come home very late, and I have cooked our meal and I'm kind of like waiting on him a little bit so that we can potentially eat as a family. So he comes home, we eat the meal that I prepared, and then my husband and my son get to go like play in the living room and have fun together. They're laughing, whatever. And then I'm sitting there doing the dishes, cleaning up the mess, cleaning up the kitchen and everything and blah, blah, blah. So there's two types of mindsets, and one is the mindset that I used to have all the time. And that is the mindset with these things going through your mind. So I would be doing the dishes and I would be very bitter and start to get kind of angry. You know, I cleaned the kitchen before I made the food. I made the food and now I'm cleaning up the food all by myself. And it's something I don't want to be doing, and I'm pregnant and my feet hurt and I just want to sit down. I don't really want to be doing this. It's not really fair that my husband gets to come home and have fun with our child, like, while I'm not getting to be a part of it. There were just little things like that that would go through my mind, and I would continuously let them go through my mind the whole time. I would be cleaning up the kitchen and doing all the things, and then by the end of it, I just realized like I'm in a bad mood, I'm bitter, and life is just not joyful and I'm not at peace, okay? So instead of having that mindset, I have done a lot to flip this script. And instead, I think, wow, how amazing is it that I have a loving husband who is present and comes home from a long day of work. Like, I was cleaning the kitchen and doing things before he came home. Well, he was also doing his own job at his own office and his own place to try to provide for our family. So how lucky am I that even though he just had a long day of work, he came home and he's fully present with our son, playing with him, having fun with him, laughing. Like, that is super awesome. And what a joy that I get to like listen in on it and sort of be a part of it. Another thing that would go through my mind is how lucky am I that we have food to eat, especially with our finance going on, like a good, healthy meal that I was able to prepare and buy for our family. Another thing that I've realized is it's not that hard and it's not that long. It doesn't take that long to clean up after us. I have like a system going. And so like, how great is it that I don't have to do this for an hour? Like, it takes me maybe 30 minutes to clean everything up and put everything away. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that long. And as soon as I'm done, I am done for the day. I get to go relax. I get to go take a shower, and then we get to go to bed. I get to talk to my husband, and just having a different mindset versus like being the victim in all of this, even when things pop up that you don't want to pop up, like our finances or like the fact that our furniture is gone, all those things. It makes life so much more enjoyable. The Lord calls us to be joyful mothers of children, so I want to have joy and I want to have peace, and you can't do that when you're constantly playing the victim. Now, before I get to the second thing that's helped me stay at peace through all of this, I just want to mention, I think that a lot of times when you're about to have a baby, something that's super important is putting together a nursery and getting all the things ready, getting them ready super early, having the name picked out, like knowing all the things, knowing the gender, like all those things become super important, and we get like really overwhelmed with that kind of stuff. And when things don't come together, when we don't get the things that we need off our registry or think we need, like we get really overwhelmed, or at least from my experience, from the people I've talked to, and even from my own self, like sometimes we get wrapped up in these things that really don't matter. And really, if my child came tomorrow, then everything would be good, everything would be fine, and we would figure everything out. And so I think that's why, the main reason why I find that this video is important. Hopefully this is helpful for you. So the next thing that really helped me stay at peace through all of this, or continue to stay at peace through all of this, is taking more responsibility and ownership in our house, taking more action. So instead of waiting on my husband, his opinion on everything, asking for little things like what he wants, what he doesn't want in certain areas, like I realize that as a woman and a mom, it is my responsibility to take care of the home, make this a home, and make this a place that is safe and fun and peaceful and clean for my husband to come home to. And so once I realized that and I stopped just relying on him for so much, it has made things so much better. So let me give you some examples of this. First of all, we had so many boxes to take to Goodwill, and I was waiting for him to take them because I am pregnant. I am getting there. I'm pretty big. And so the thought of like taking all the boxes, taking all the things to my car, and then driving to Goodwill and dropping them all off, like it didn't sound good to me. So I've been waiting for my husband, waiting. Why are we waiting? Like why? Not saying that you are, but I was. So instead of waiting, I loaded everything in my car when there was a good day of weather. And we took all the things, and I felt so much more accomplished, so much more at peace in my household. Like that's something that I can control. Another thing is, instead of waiting on my husband to buy things that we need for the house, of course we are on a budget and things are happening, but if there are essentials that we need, I'm just going to take care of it. I'm not going to wait around and ask him what he needs or wants. I already know, so I'm just going to take care of it so he doesn't have to. Another thing I used to do all the time is wait and ask my husband, like, what do you want for dinner this week? What do you want for dinner tomorrow? And question everything and wonder if what I'm making is what he would want, and second guess everything, which he makes decisions all day at work. He doesn't want to come home and make a decision. He just wants to come home to a nice meal that he can sit down and relax and not think about things and eat. So if your relationship is anything like mine, like that, I have found it is so much more peaceful when you just go ahead, make the decisions, make the food, and your husband will get on board. Another example of taking action would be, I had a high chair to put up, and instead of waiting on my husband, I just put it up myself. Yes, it does take a lot longer when you have a toddler running around trying to help you. It's very cute and very sweet, but also can be, it can test your patience. So anyways, instead of waiting on my husband, I just put it together. We had these little chairs and a little table to write on, which is really fun. I just put it together. Another thing, we had a bed. My toddler is transitioning to a new room so the baby can have the nursery that was previously his. Anyways, we had a bed to put together and a floor to clean and a whole mess, craziness to fix in there, and I will show you because it has been a process. But anyways, instead of waiting on my husband because he's getting home late and things are happening, instead of waiting, my son and I just put the bed together. Did it take 3 different sessions for us to do this? Absolutely. Yes, it did. But that's okay. We did it and it's complete and I feel so much more accomplished. The mattress is coming tomorrow. I'm so excited. And that's just like one little checkbox off my list. It's so like empowering to just do the things. Stop waiting and just take action. Okay, 2 small examples of taking action and then I'm going to move on to the next thing on my list. So first thing would be finding homes for little things around the house. So even if it is my husband's things that are around the house that don't have a home, I will find a home and he will have to ask me where it is later. So instead of waiting around for him to clean something up or him to pick something up, whatever, no, I'm just going to find a home, figure out where it's going to go, and it's going to go there. Or the other thing would be if I find something that has not been used for forever or something that's just collecting dust or something I know that my husband doesn't need anymore. Of course, a lot of the things are mine, but regardless, whoever's thing it is that is no longer needed in this house, I'm just getting rid of. I don't ask. I'm just, boom, it's gone. And if you really, really, really need it in a year from now, you can replace it, whatever. So that is probably, those things are probably also due to the fact that I am pregnant and I'm sort of in this like nesting era, and I just need things gone and put up and whatever. But it just makes you feel so much more accomplished and seriously more at peace when the clutter is less. As I talk about less clutter, I have to, after this, go record what our living room looks like because currently we played and we were drawing and building and things like that. And then I put my son to bed and now I'm here. So nothing has been actually cleaned up. So let me just give you a little taste of what my living room is looking like right now. Of course, not everything is decluttered and things are looking really crazy. So the next thing that has been super helpful is realizing that not everything is on my shoulders. So there are things, for example, I can do to help out with our finances. So I don't have to buy my $12 raw milk every single week. I can do it every other week instead. Or I don't have to buy, usually we have steak at least once a week, if not twice. And that is my husband's favorite meal. Plus it's super healthy, super great protein. Plus I'm buying it in bulk from a farmer that we know that is local. So really great. But I don't have to do that in this specific period of time in our life. We don't have to eat steak twice a week. We don't have to. It's very expensive and there are just seasons of life where that doesn't necessarily make sense. Something else I can do is to not buy like those impulsive little buys at the store when you buy a really healthy snack alternative. Another thing I can do is to not buy everything organic. Now there is, I'm sure you've heard of it, the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So if you look on the Clean 15 and just are very cautious of that, I personally right now am not buying any of those items organic. So I know some of them are like sweet potatoes, bananas, and avocados. Now a couple other things that I can do are pick up a few jobs here and there. I do a lot of freelance work, or I did before I started just doing mom stuff and being a stay-at-home mom. So there are some online graphic design projects that I can pick up and do, but in the grand scheme of things, I do want to mention actually that without me even asking the Lord for that specifically, I have received 5 different clients asking me for me to do paid work for them, which I do not go out and like seek out work anymore. So I just think that that's super awesome that it has just fallen into my lap without me even trying. But regardless, in the grand scheme of our household and our household's finances and the amount of money that we need to make and to sustain and all the things, what I can contribute and save is just, honestly, it's just pennies. Like, it's not going to be super, super helpful, honestly. So realizing that not all the responsibility is on me, and most of it is on my husband's shoulders, unfortunately, and then the Lord. So with me realizing that the finances are not all on my shoulders, I've realized that obviously they are a lot on my husband's shoulders, and to keep more peace and be more joyful and to be more helpful and loving, I have learned that when my husband comes home and he is kind of down or stressed out, or if he's trying to bounce ideas off of me or talk through things that have to do with his business or work or anything like that, I've realized that instead of, my son did wake up, so I'm trying to get through this with my little sugar. So anyways, something that I've realized that my husband is truly looking for when he comes to me to bounce things up, ideas off of, or to tell me about work things, or when he's stressed out, I've realized that 99% of the time he's not looking for advice from me. He's not looking for me to tell him if he has a good idea or not, or he's not looking for me to shoot him down, which I have learned by shooting him down that that's not the right way to go about it. But 99% of the time, I believe all he's looking for is support. He's looking for love. And a lot of times in the past, I've shot down ideas that he's had. And last time he came up with an idea that I didn't think was super great, I just was loving and supportive. And a few days later, I said, "Hey, how is that going? Are you doing that?" And he was like, "No, I really don't think it's a good idea." So he came to the conclusion on his own. I didn't have to be rude or mean to him or shoot him down, or like shoot him while he's down, honestly, while he's stressed out. There's no reason for that. And he came to the conclusion on his own, and everything is good and everything's going to work out. So that is just a big thing that has helped me stay at peace, plus keep our relationship really positive and loving. Now, I mentioned before, another reason I have peace is because I know that the responsibility of finances is on my husband and also on the Lord. So I believe that God wants us to be prosperous. He does not want us to be struggling financially. He wants us to be able to have enough and be secure and to be able to help others. I truly believe that. So I'm going to read one verse that I just feel like encapsulates this. So it's Matthew 6:25. "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about anything in your life, what you eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and body more than clothes?" So that's telling us we shouldn't worry about anything, honestly. These material things, these little lists that I have going that I need to get done before the baby gets here, those are not something to worry about. It's all going to work out. So Matthew 6:26, it says, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?" So obviously God cares about us more than he cares about the birds in the sky. And they are not worried about where their next meal is going to come from. They are just living life, and they're going to figure it out because God has provided things for them to eat. So I believe that God is going to provide for our family. He's going to provide for us financially. I don't need to worry about the meals on our table, the money in our bank account. I know that he's going to provide. So this is just super helpful in my opinion. Lastly, this is one of my favorite verses in the Bible. It says, Matthew 6:27, "Can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?" So I think that all of that just screams we shouldn't be worried. We shouldn't have anxiety. We should just trust that God is going to provide for us as long as we are taking action and doing the things that we can do that are in our control, and we're listening to him, praying for things. I think that he's going to work it out. And so I think that alone has just created so much peace in my life. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I was going to give practical tips on how you can have peace even when your life seems super chaotic, when you're in the middle of a storm. So the first thing, kind of piggybacking on what I just mentioned, is reading the Bible. So I think that alone can help minimize your anxiety and worry and stress and all the things, and just create so much more peace. Not only just reading it, but speaking it. I think speaking it is so important. The Bible says that death and life are in the power of your tongue. And so speaking those words out in affirmations, that is super powerful. The next thing is to try to be aware and recognize when you're going into that negative spiral. So instead of letting those negative thoughts replay over and over and over and over and over, when you realize that it's happening and you're getting in a bad mood, you have to flip the script. So work on changing the narrative in your mind. Mindset is such a huge thing, and there are so many things to be grateful for. And so you really just have to be more intentional throughout the day when you get into that negative mindset and start thinking negative thoughts, and just flip the script in your head. Another thing that's helpful for me, I like to journal, and it's kind of going along the same lines as what I said before. So writing out positive things, writing out things that you're grateful for, things that you have, instead of focusing on all the negative, the things that are going wrong in life. Just write down, I have a beautiful, healthy child. I am healthy. I am a super healthy pregnant person. My baby is healthy. Everything is going as it should. So yeah, I would just encourage you, if you are feeling super down and stressed out and things are going wrong, write down all the things that are going right. You can even make it specific, like write out 10 things about your husband that are super positive, super great about him, things that he does for you, things that he does for your household, or really positive things about your kids, or anything you can think of. And make it very specific and intentional. Even right now, honestly, I'm trying to make a video. I wanted my son to be asleep. He woke up an hour early, and this is quite a bit chaotic, but you know what? We're going to make it work. Everything's okay. You're healthy. I'm healthy. We're going to make it through, right? Yeah. I really hope that this was helpful, or at least give you a glimpse into my life. I don't know if that is encouraging for you, but anyways, I feel like a lot of times we can get super wrapped up in the little things, in material things, and they just don't matter. If you're about to have a baby and you're worried about things from your registry, they don't matter. Babies are so simple. They don't need much. Your nursery is totally going to be fine. You're probably not even going to use it for the first 6 months, a year. I don't even know. Who knows? You do you. But I just hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that. Mama. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. And thank you for watching.